Welcome to another episode of Women in Focus. We are in the office of a dynamic woman who looks after Natu'oil. You must have heard about it. And I want to find out, what does this company do? What does she do? And it's all going to happen today in this particular program. Her name is Hema Bhatt, and she is our Woman in Focus today. Hema, you're most welcome in our program. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, Shishmaji.
So, you've got this office in Boondocks. It took me forever to find it.
Yeah, I know. It's a pretty new area that
Yes.
they have developed now.
Right.
We have a lot of offices and warehouses in this area, so
Right.
it's really booming with the Walmart and the Home Depot and all
Okay.
the restaurants here. So this is like the in place in Coquitlam for new warehouses.
So, you have a huge warehouse here. So, what do you store here?
So we store our palm oil-based shortening
Okay.
for the food ingredients business.
All right.
So this shortening goes into the frying of donuts, cookies, pastries, and stuff like that.
So, now, different kinds of oils, right? So, palm oil is different from canola and all that?
Yes, it's all just where it comes from. Like
Yeah.
palm oil comes from like equatorial countries.
Okay.
Like they grow in India, they grow in Indonesia, they grow in Malaysia because they require a lot of sunlight.
I see.
So that's where palm oil comes from. It's basically an oil, but it depends on what you use the oil for. Because there's different temperatures in which oil is heated at
Yes.
to create what you're looking for. And there are also the usage for how much of what you need to use it for. For
Okay.
frying, you need different oils at different
Right.
temperatures.
Yeah.
But for baking, you might use a different type of shortening.
I
So
see.
there's so many things that these oils can be used for
Right.
in the food ingredients business.
So, does your oil also get used for pets, etc. too?
No, we use our oils. So what we do is we make the products that
Okay.
the customer requires. So
I
ours
see.
is a bit of a specialization
Uh-huh.
where we would create the product that would fit a certain market.
So, somebody would come to you and say, this is what I want to do, and then you'll say, okay, we can customize it to your needs.
So ours is specialty fats that go into the dairy feed industry. So that feeds the dairy cattle.
Yeah.
This is an energy supplement which creates more milk yield for the farmers. So you add it into the food
Yes.
that the farmers would feed their cattle,
Yes.
and it produces more milk yield.
So, would you say this is organic then?
Yes, it would be organic because it's starting from basic, from just oil based,
Right.
and it's more pure,
Right.
like that, right?
How did you guys get into this business?
Well, we started in Malaysia when my husband was a trader and
Yeah.
he worked in all these different palm oil based countries,
Right.
companies,
Yeah.
coming back from the US where he studied computer science and business administration. He had no job when he came back as a student.
I
So
see.
there was an opening in an Indian company which was dealing in edible oils.
Okay.
So that was his first job. He started from that company
Right.
and he learned all about the different uses of the oil. And that's how he had this idea after working for a lot of international companies,
Right.
going into the plantation, seeing how the crop was grown from scratch all the way to where he went out to the distribution.
Wow. So, when he was doing all that, had you already met him?
Yes. We met when he just started working.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
So, you take me back to your life. Where were you born?
I was born and raised in Malaysia.
No kidding.
From a little town called Bukit Matajam on the mainland. And after I moved to Penang, the island.
Yes.
And I come from a huge family. My parents had 5 sons and 3 daughters.
Holy mackerel.
And I'm number 7 in that family.
So lost.
So there was a lot of chaos in the house, but somehow there was a system as well.
Of course.
Because my mom was a homemaker,
Right.
saw to everything that happened in the house. I don't know how she did it. I salute her for doing it, but she somehow managed to make it all happen.
I think women of that era were built differently. They were
That is
very
true.
resilient.
They were so resilient, you know, they were so strong, and they
Yes.
just took everything in their stride.
So how did your family move to Malaysia? Or were they there for many generations?
No, my parents were born in Malaysia.
They were born in Malaysia.
Yes.
So you're second
their
generation,
parents,
yeah.
yes. So my grandparents were from India.
Right. So what part of India then?
So Trichy, so it's the south of India, Trichy,
Right. Okay.
was where my grandparents came
So did you guys then retain the language?
Yes, we did. My grandmother spoke in Tamil
Okay.
to my mom and my dad. So
Yeah.
the communication between the older generation was Tamil.
Okay.
And so that's how we learned the language.
Ah.
So I still speak Tamil till
Yeah.
today.
So is your Tamil different than the Tamil spoken in India then?
Yes.
Because it's like with the people from Fiji, they speak Hindi, but their Hindi is Awadhi Hindi, and it's like 200-year-old Hindi.
Right.
You
And
know.
ours is more Malaysianized Tamil.
I see. So are there a lot of people from that part in Malaysia?
Yes, a majority of the Indians are Tamil origin.
I see.
And there are other Indian denominations as well, like
Right.
the Punjabis, the Gujaratis, the
Right.
Sindhis.
All
We do all
entrepreneurial
small-
people.
A lot of them are entrepreneurs, yes.
So, living in Malaysia and growing up there, how was life as a child?
Not all a bed of roses, you
No,
would
of course
say,
not.
because it was always a struggle,
Yeah.
with my father being the only breadwinner and my mother a homemaker.
Yes.
But somehow we managed to, see it through.
Yes.
My parents educated us, and then we moved on in life. But
Right.
growing up there, Penang is like a beautiful island.
Is it really?
Yes.
Have you been back many?
Oh yes, I go back every year.
You do?
Because I have my office in Kuala Lumpur, which is
Okay.
the capital.
All right.
So sometimes it's twice a year I'm back there for business as well
Right.
as to visit family.
So I want to take a short commercial break, come back and follow the story of your husband coming out there and meeting him, and how did that happen, and how were parents, because is he a South Indian?
No, he's Gujarati,
He's
so he's not
Gujarati.
Indian.
So that's going to be a story in itself.
That was a Bollywood movie like in
Was
itself.
it? Let's take a short break and we'll come back. Hema is our woman in focus today. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Women in Focus. Hema Bhatt is our woman in focus today. We were in Malaysia, and you were going to meet Harish, this good-looking guy that you married. What was the meeting like? Bollywood story.
So basically a friend of ours, a mutual friend of ours,
Yeah.
introduced us.
What were you doing there?
I was working in a travel agency.
Okay.
Yes, when we met.
Uh-huh.
So I am a person who loves meeting people. I'm this very bubbly personality
Yeah.
who likes to know people and know what makes them tick.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
like that. And so I thought, okay, I would love. And seeing my aunt,
Yes.
I like when growing up, I had this very strong, powerful women in my life, which
Oh.
is my mom and my aunt. Who was a single mother whose husband died when she was very young, and she had to bring up her only son.
Yes.
And she looked after her mother as well, which was my grandmother.
Wow.
Right? And so watching her, she ran this huge company called Sime Darby, which was pretty big company in Malaysia.
Right.
And she was running the travel department. And during school holidays, my mom used to bring us up to the island, to visit grandma and her. And I used to see her and think, wow, this lady is a really powerful Indian woman wearing a sari. She'll dress in a sari every day in the office.
Right.
And whatever she did looked so efficient and so confident.
Right.
The way she sat there, she handled herself, people came up to her.
Right.
And that point of time, all the people below her were all men
Yes.
and women.
Yes.
And she was the head of that department.
Wow.
And I felt a sense of, wow, she can do it, and she's right there.
Right.
That
So
sense.
she was a role model for you.
And yeah, she sort of was, and she traveled a lot. And she used to come back and tell us about her travels. And that's when I thought, wow, there's so much out there that we need to see and we need to learn, right?
That's
So
right.
that got my interest going, right? And so when I met Harish, I was in this travel agency
I see.
when he was introduced to us.
Yes.
And because there was no telephones or cell phones, I would
Yes.
say, to connect.
That's right.
We sort of missed that. We were introduced and we were supposed to go on a group date. It
Right.
never happened because this other friend didn't come.
Ah.
So our hero walks into my office, finds out where I work, and comes up to me and says, "Are you so and so?" I said, "Yes, I am." And he said, "I'm the guy who stood up yesterday."
So sweet.
And so I was thinking, this is where the North American education comes up, you know, being very upfront
Forward
and forward.
upfront, yes.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's how, and then he said, because you did not show up and I sat there and wasted like 2 to 3 hours waiting
Yes.
for you guys to come,
Yeah.
I think you owe me lunch.
Yeah. So he said.
And I said, yep, it's fine, we'll do lunch. And he said, and it was, I think it was a Thursday or Friday, and he
Yeah.
said, Saturday, okay? I said, yeah, Saturday is fine.
I see.
And that's how we met for lunch, and we ended up talking for 4 hours.
For lunch.
Yes.
4 ghante. That's
There was so
beautiful.
much to talk about,
Yeah.
you know, his experiences
Yes.
in another country.
Right.
And
And where was he living at that time?
he was also on the island of Penang.
Ah,
So he
okay.
was born in Penang.
Oh, so both of you are born there.
There, yes, yeah. We just that we lived in different areas.
Isn't that
And
interesting?
he is Gujarati. He
Yes.
comes from a Brahmin family, and so his upbringing was totally different.
Yeah.
And
Vegetarian and all that.
Yes, vegetarian,
Were
no alcohol, you know.
No smoking, no meat,
Yes,
no nothing. And
nothing.
you guys?
And we were South Indians, and I was Christian. So we enjoyed our wines and our meat.
Oh, two opposites, eh?
So North and South met, right? That's right. Yeah.
Now, the Gujarati food and South Indian food, totally different.
Yes. They're all bread eating people, and we
Yes.
love our rice.
Yes.
Our rice and curries.
Yeah, they have roti and puris and all
Yes. We
that.
do.
So, when you told your mom and dad about him,
Mm-hmm.
what was the reaction?
See, my family is like very open in that sense. If I had met someone, they
Yeah.
knew all my friends.
Yes.
He used to come over and I used to introduce him.
Right.
And he'll have very good conversation with my father,
Right.
especially. And my mom, you know, he'll have
Yeah.
a hi, say hi and sit down and have some tea. So we were very open like that.
Very nice.
It was introduction to his family that was very formal.
Oh, okay.
I used to just go home, say hi to his parents, and
Yeah.
that's when they knew that, oh, he's dating a South Indian girl.
I see. And so, what were they thinking?
And I think they were shocked at first, right? To see
They
this,
would-
and they used to tell him, oh, you have to be careful, society is
Yeah.
different, and
Yes.
things like that. But Harish has a mind of his own,
Yes, of
I would
course.
say, you know. He says, I think, what he always says is, I think you know when you've met the right person,
Right.
is what he would say,
Yeah.
right? And he said, I've met so many people, or
Yeah.
in life you meet a lot of people, just like
true.
me.
That's
I
true.
had a lot of friends. I was in the modeling industry.
Wow.
I was meeting a lot of people, but somehow you just connect on a
Yes.
different level.
And you know, it is that spark
Mm-hmm.
that is needed. And if the spark is there, that's it. That's all you need.
Chemistry is a must-have.
So then, how long did it take you before you guys decided that you were made for each other?
So we were dating for about a year and a half.
Okay.
And after that, we decided that, you know,
Yeah.
this is going fine, you know,
Yeah.
we are able to get along, we are able to look at our differences and embrace that,
Right.
right?
So you wanted to stay in Malaysia then?
Yes, we were living in Malaysia. There was no plans because
Yeah.
he started working and I was working.
Right.
It was only after we got married and
Yeah.
we had children, that's when we realized there might be a better future
Yeah.
for children if we moved to a more developed country.
So comparing Malaysia to Canada, what are the things that Malaysia missed that Canada had, or Canada is missing that Malaysia has?
I think the education system,
Yeah. Okay.
I would believe, would be huge.
Yeah.
Because there you have a quota system
Mm.
where the 3 different nationalities, you have allocations for your
Wow.
educations. Yeah.
Really?
So the Muslims would have the biggest quota.
Okay.
The next will be the Chinese
Yeah.
because they're the next biggest number in the country.
Yeah.
And then Indians were third. So there was very little scope for you to choose what your education was going to be in.
Really?
Yeah, even you can be the top scorer
Yeah.
in your school, but your entry
Had to be through the quota system.
Yes, so it was very difficult like that. And looking at that and
Yeah.
how things were going in the country,
Yeah.
a lot of people always sent their children away to study, and they never came back. So we decided that we would go,
With the
we'd look at
children. Yeah,
options.
yeah.
That's when we put in our papers
Right.
for Canada immigration, and we were accepted.
I want to take a short commercial break and come back and ask you about bringing up your children in Malaysia and then your decision to come to Canada. But let's take a short break and come back. Hema Bhatt is our Woman in Focus today. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Women in Focus. Our Woman in Focus today is Hema Bhatt. We were in Malaysia. You told mom and dad, this guy is the one I want to get married. He told his mom and dad, this is the girl that I want to get married to. You guys had a marriage ceremony. Was it huge? Was it Gujarati style? Was it South Indian style?
Oh no, it was very small. It was
Yeah.
just family.
Yeah.
Because we wanted to have two ceremonies. So one at the
yes.
temple.
That's right.
Yes.
And the other one in a church.
So we did that temple ceremony in the morning, and we had an evening ceremony in the church to make both sides happy. So we did that, and then we had the reception at night.
So, getting married to a Hindu Brahmin, right? And you being brought up as a Christian, did you guys worry about what are you going to give your children, what religion they would be following?
Yes, we did talk about that.
Yeah.
And we decided that we should do it both ways. That would be good for both sides. We first decided that we're not going to convert anyone here.
Yeah.
That was very important.
Yes.
Because we would like to remain with what we were born with, so that we will not make our parents unhappy.
Beautiful, beautiful.
So that
Very
was the
few
main.
people do that, isn't it?
That was the main thing, because you can see it that they are hurt.
Yeah.
That you did not choose someone of their choice,
I
or
see.
someone in your same religion.
Yes.
And they had brought up the topic of, you're going to have a lot of hurdles to go through. You should make sure that this works, because once you are in it, you're
Yeah.
in it for life.
That's right.
Sort of thing,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
in their time, there was no such thing as a divorce.
Yes, that's right.
Things like that. So I
That's
say,
right.
you got to, if you make your bed, you make sure it
You lie in
happens.
it, yes. Yeah.
Happens, kind of thing. And so we had to think a lot about this stuff.
Right.
But we were not people who were fanatics about our religion.
Yes.
The religion is there
Yeah, but
to
it's
guide
mine.
you.
It's-
Yes.
yeah.
And you have to know and take all the good things from that.
Yeah.
And then
Move
go
forward.
about your life.
So, I think people get into trouble when religion becomes the focal point in a relationship, doesn't it? I personally feel, and I don't know whether you agree with me or not, I think you would, that religion is very personal. So, the way you connect with the Almighty is your way.
That's
You
right.
know, and you cannot impose your way on somebody else, and you
Exactly.
cannot take somebody else's imposition on you.
That's right. Yeah.
Right?
That's right.
So it's very great that both of you decided to not touch that part at all.
Yeah, and he was Harish took religious studies
Yes.
as one of his courses in university,
Right.
and that helped him understand a lot.
Right.
And he used to talk, and when we had discussions,
Right.
he used to say, "Oh, this is like this," and I had an understanding which I did not have previously. And so we
Right.
should exchange dialogue in
Right.
that sense, and that brought a better understanding of things.
Isn't that interesting? So, what made you choose Canada?
There was not much of a choice really for
Yeah.
us, because Harish did not like going to the US. He
Right.
studied there,
Yes.
but he did not think that was a really good option for family. He preferred, after we did some research, he preferred that we be here in the US.
By this time, you'd had your children. How many kids do you
Yes,
have?
I have 2 daughters.
Yes.
And one is 27
Okay.
and the other is 23.
Wow, beautiful. And are they in your profession?
Yes, they now are. When we moved to Canada in
Yeah.
2003, my oldest daughter was just 12,
Yeah.
and the younger one was 8 years old.
Right. So was it a shock for them?
They were in the English education system,
I see.
in Malaysia, and moving here was not so much of an issue for them.
Right.
I guess because they're younger.
Yeah.
But it's more difficult when you think you're moving to another country, a country with 4 seasons that
Yes.
you have never experienced there,
Right.
and then having no support.
Yes.
No family around you.
Yes.
That's when you have this fear that comes into you. How am I going to do it? Right?
Especially when you come from a huge family, right?
That's true. That's
and so
true.
you have no family here?
No.
None
Everybody is, yeah. All my family members are still in Malaysia.
Yeah.
So when I go back there, it's a huge party because they're very happy to see me.
Kids, was it difficult for them?
Right? So it wasn't difficult for them.
That wasn't tough at all.
But the move here, going into the education system, which was more free,
Yes.
you're very afraid of your teachers back home.
Yes.
The respect was totally different.
Yes.
And when the teacher here told my daughter, Nikita, it's okay, you can hold my hand and we can walk.
Yeah.
She was like, I am not holding my teacher's hand. Because you don't do that there, right?
No.
So those were the different things
That they would-
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like their learning curve
Yes.
to come in here and understand how the system works.
Right.
And there, everything you have to excel
Yes.
in everything you do.
I know, you've got to be number one.
A in all subjects.
Yes.
Right, and number 1. So
Right.
coming here, it was very easy for them. And the teachers will tell me when we go for the parent-teacher conference,
Yes.
why are you here? You don't need to be here. Your daughter is doing well. It's the other people that I want to see here who are not here.
Who don't even come and bother about coming.
So we say, no, we are very interested to know things that, she knows and your perspective, because she's our daughter. We
Right.
could be biased.
Right.
Right?
That's
So it
true.
was a very nice conversation that we used to have.
I haven't even scratched the surface of the interview that I wanted to do. So I'll have to do another interview with you. And we'll come back again.
Sure.
Hema Bhatt has been our Woman in Focus. Today, don't go away. We'll be right back.